The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, so it looks like the recorder has started. So again, hello and welcome, whether you're watching this live, which I've got quite a few people on that, or whether you're watching the replay. Either way, glad you are here and learning about how to have a smoother startup for your Microsoft Dynamics NAV software, all without a custom code. I'm going to show you how to do this with very much out-of-the-box solutions. These are called add-on products that I'll be showing you today. The session should be about 60 to 70 minutes. I think it'll be 60, somewhere in that general range. Okay, so let's get started. I guess I should introduce myself a little bit to you. You may not be familiar with me. So again, my name is Rick Baxter. Yep, that's my picture up there. I'm with Cost Control Software located in Carmel, Indiana, is where I'm speaking from today. Just so you know a little bit about me before I jump into this software, I kind of help Microsoft Dynamics end users and resellers, called VARs sometimes, get the most from their software investment. That's what I really want to be sure that you do, is get the most from your use of NAV. So today I'm going to be showing how to make and have a much smoother startup with your NAV software. There's 3 key steps that makes this happen. And I'm going to take you through all 3 of these today. The first one is improve screen design and access to the data. You know, a complaint that we often hear in the industry over and over again is, I know that data is in there, but I can't get it out. And so we want to be sure that you design your screens and have access, easy access to the data. That's the whole purpose of NAV, and I'm going to take you through and show you several examples to improve that data access today. Second key factor that we're going to look at is reporting. So there's some reporting improvements that I think you really have to get the most out of your NAV software. And again, no custom code, just add the improvements. So I'm going to show you the improvements and just add them into your software. And then the third thing, absolutely critical, is good training. And I'm going to show you how you can get it fairly, I say cheap. I shouldn't say cheap. I should say inexpensively. Really good training. I'm one of the instructors, and I've got a couple other instructors that help as well. So we've got some very nice recorded classes that I'll tell you about here in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you are here to learn because you're wanting to implement the NAV 2017, maybe 2018, maybe you're doing an upgrade and you're thinking, well, where do I start this process? How do I get it going? Well, the first thing that I want you to consider is a database that has a design to it that makes it easy to use. And I'm going to take you through that today. It's called Foundation Pack Database, and I'm going to show you some of these features. Now, most of you should have this study guide. So I think Ben sent this out to you ahead of time. At least I hope I did. And if not, it is available in the handouts section of your GoToWebinar dialog box there on your screen. But I will warn you, I have found that doesn't always work perfectly, but I hope you have access to the study guide. And if you don't have it, just kind of follow along. So I'm going to take you through some things. I'm going to take you through what I call the full access role center. It's a little different design to a role center. Often you see role centers that are a role center for the shipping agent, somebody that only does shipping. And that's all they see on their screens is maybe inventory and the post where you post the sales orders and do your shipping. That's all they would see on the screen. This role center is a little bit more global, and it applies to maybe a smaller business that needs access to everything very quickly. So that's the advantage of the role center you'll see here in just a second. So we're going to compare the tiles. I'm going to talk about the navigation pane, how you can add information to it. Make sure you understand that. Where to put your key reports on the Role Center. I'll show you that as well. And the inventory with supply and demand fact boxes and how to rank your inventory. So let's go take a look at that first, and then we'll come back to the study guide in just a minute. Okay, so let me move this out of the way and we'll open up our nav system. Got it running here. Okay. So the first thing, let me get to my notes here. Okay, this is the Enterprise Role Center. And I call it the Enterprise because it applies to almost everybody in your company. Gives you access to customers, to vendors, to items, resources. Gives you access to what I call a business snapshot. A nicely designed ribbon up here. And most important are the tiles. These tiles tell you things, although some of the tiles that are provided by Microsoft tend to me, at least to me, to be a little bit what I called mystifying in your study guide. That these we've tried to make them a little simpler. So when you see like this one, sales orders 88, and if I click on that tile, it drills down to my 88 open sales orders. Well, I think it does. Come on. Sometimes when I turn on the recorder, the screen slows down just a little bit, but here we go. So here, basically, that's my list of open sales orders. And of course, you can edit them as needed, but it just, takes you right to a very predefined list. It's not a mystery as far as, well, how did you get that count and what does that verbiage down here mean? So I just like to keep it real simple. Open purchase orders, purchase invoices, so it's real clear and easy to follow there on screen. Now, the other thing that I think is important is I want you to know how to modify your navigation. So I'm looking here at customers, vendors, items, but you may like to use contacts. In other words, the people that you do business with. And it's not on the screen. So I want you to know that you can actually modify this this role center, and it's so easy to do. I want to take a minute and just show you and train you how to do that here. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to customize the it's called the navigation pane. So here's the navigation pane. And this is the list of choices that are there. See, roll customers, balance, vendors. That's this information here. But I want to add a new choice. So we pick add, and then it says, where do you want to get the choice from? This is like from the departments menu. You can do it there as well. But I wanted, context. So that's under marketing, and it probably here under marketing, here's my contacts. Okay, it's the people. So I just say okay, and it adds that choice right to the menu. Let's put this, I like to put those contacts, contacts, I want to move them up just a little bit. Move a list of navigation pane. What's happening here? Okay, so I'm going to leave it where it is. All right, so we'll say, okay, it needs to restart. And so now I have contacts. This is the people that you do business with, is right here on your screen. So it's that quick and easy to modify this role center. Now, I think while I'm here, I think I'll show you one other way to do this, because not everybody knows this one. If you go into the departments menu, often you come here and you go, oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. Well, if you want some of this on your navigation pane, watch how easy it is. I could have done this another way. I could have come to sales and marketing, come in here to marketing, and here's my contacts. I'm going to right click them, and you can see a choice called add to navigation pane. So that's another way to do what I just did, which is to add that choice to the navigation pane. So there's a couple ways that you can actually get the contacts right on your screen. Okay, again, think in terms of make the software, design the software so the choices that you need are readily available to you. Okay, same for reports. If I'm, for example, if I'm here on the vendors, I would want to see the reports that are related to the vendors. New documents, here's some reports up here. And one that I particularly like is this vendor performance report. Now you may or may not have that on your screen. Let me go and print this one just so you can see what this is. And this is specific to vendors. So this shows me for each vendor, okay, what I've been purchasing from that vendor, the date it was received, the expected receipt date, and whether it came in early or late, or was it on time. And then if it's late, it shows, that this guy is 0% on-time delivery. This guy's 100% on-time delivery. We have any's that are kind of partials. Let's see down here. Here's somebody that's 90% on-time delivery. So it lets you see per vendor, and you could filter this on specific ranges of dates to actually see that vendor performance. Now there's a reverse of this on the customer side, which is lets you see how you're doing on your shipments to your customers. Are you on time? So that's a customer performance report. Okay, same concept. And we'll talk about how you get access to those if you don't have those kind of reports on your screen. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Here's something else that I think is really important is in inventory. The way I like to design my screens is when I'm sitting on an inventory item here, I want to be able to see at a glance. I don't want to have to go someplace to look things up. I want to see at a glance the supply and demand of that particular item. If I'm on a frame, what's my quantity on hand? What do I have any on purchase orders? Do I have any production orders where I'm producing that item, or any on jobs? All of that should give me my net supply. My demand is coming from component lines or sales orders or planning lines on jobs. Basically, that's my total demand, my net demand, and then the net available is the difference between the two. Now, what's interesting on this one, the frame, there's obviously a problem here. Can you tell that? You should be able to. I mean, the screen should really just. Ooh, there's a problem. Okay, my net available is in the hole. So that tells me I need to take some action. I either need to buy more or I need to make more to fill that demand, because we want that net available to be close to zero. Let's take a look at the Athens desk, see where that is. Now this is the other way around. So this one, I've got 246, and looks like I've got some net supply of 241, 271, and then on sales orders, I've got 7 on sales orders. And by the way, these are all drillable, so that I can drill down and I can see that remaining. There's 6 and 1. There's 2 different, looks like, 2 different sales orders for that same item. And then I have my net available. So that's a little closer to zero. We want items that are real close, and you can just click through here and you can just see how these items are doing. And so having that supply and demand, really helpful information. A couple of the things that I want you to be sure that you're aware of now with the new probably this is about 2015, but a lot of people aren't aware of this. Here's the quantity on hand column right here. All these columns are sortable. So if I want to click the description, now I'm seeing everything by sorted by description. So all my A items, my B items, or by part number if I want to see it by number. Or it's kind of interesting if I click on the quantity on hand and I click it again, it reverses the order AZ or ZA sort. And it shows me what I have in descending order based on quantity on hand. Kind of cool. How about by cost? I can click on the cost and will show me a ranking of my inventory items, my highest value items down to my lowest value items. So it just use this as a way to quickly sort and analyze your inventory, either by cost or maybe you want to sort it by price. There's lots of different ways that you can organize your list and do it all right from here. Okay, from the list. That's the power of the list. And you often don't even have to open up or edit the item card. It's just right there. Okay, so let's go back to our study guide for just a moment here and see what's next on the list. And I'm just going to point out some of these things for you to kind of help you understand the way we like to organize the screens to make it easy to use and have a smooth startup when you're launching your NAV software. Here's an idea. Put your history lookups everywhere. History lookups. What is history lookups? Let me show you what that is. It's a real nice little feature here within NAV. Okay, so from the, let's just do it right from here. So I'll just, let me sort my items by number, and I'm going to come down to let's just do it on this Athens desk. Okay, so I'm here on this Athens desk, and I've got a choice right on the menu called Sales History. This lets me see all the items that every time I've sold this item, it drops a record into my recent sales history file. So I've got this listing and I can pop it up. This may be a huge list, and it would show all the different customers that have purchased that item from you, as well as being able to hit the show document and actually see the posted, this is the posted sales invoice that went out to that customer, as well as the lines and the dollar amount is showing on that document. So really quick and easy to see that. Also, when you're on items, you can look at the purchase history. So I'm on the frame, and I want to see, if I'm the purchasing agent, I would like to know, who have I been buying this item from, and what have I been paying every time I buy it. So this is the history file, and you notice how quick and easy it is to get to it. That's the way we designed it. Is I want it easy and I want it quick to get to the most important data that you'll use on a day-to-day basis. And this is a perfect example, especially for a purchasing agent or anybody that needs to kind of dig into the history of that item. Who'd we buy this from? Okay, and again, you've got the show document, so you can open up that vendor's purchase invoice for this 120. This was 120. They're all the same price, different quantities. Okay, and so different extended amounts out here. So again, purchase history. Another place I'll show you. One of the places I think that purchase and sales history is important. When you're on a sales quote, you're doing a quote. Let me just see if it's here on this first one. So I'm doing a quote for somebody and I'm quoting the base. I like to have sales history right here. See, it just makes sense to have it so convenient. So I can say, has this customer, actually has the Canon Group ever purchased base from me before, or have I quoted it to them before? Boom, there it is right on screen, and I get to see it, and I could show the document. And this is this customer 10,000? Yeah, so that's 10,000. If they had never purchased, but somebody else has, then the history will show you all the other people that have purchased that item. So just sales history, purchase history, really, really important to utilize that functionality. And we provide that in this database that I'm showing you called Foundation Pack database. We provide that everywhere: cards, lists, documents, all sorts of places, just to make that access to history very, very important. Okay, I'm going to do the last one on page 2 here, which is, I call it the shrinking budget. Okay, and it's really column layouts more than it is account schedules, but it all kind of goes together. So let me go into the financials here, and I want to show you this option called column layouts. We provide with this database, and this is for the financial people in the room. So kind of, if you're not financial, you can sit back and relax for just a second, but not for long. So this is a list of 12 different financial statements, and this is for the March financial. Let me show you what happens here. What we'd like to show is January, February, and March. These are all the actuals. Okay, it's going out and getting the net entries and displaying those in the first 3 columns. Then in the April, May, June through November columns, it's going to show the budget entries. So it kind of gives you a 12-month spread or an estimate, and then the net at the end gives you the grand totals. Let's go take a look at further in the year. Let's go down to June's financials. So with June, it's going to give you January, February, March. All these are actuals, and then we get into budgets. So as you get closer and closer to the end of the year, the grand totals get more and more accurate because it's pulling in your actuals, and so it's a little variation on the on that financial spread. And I've got some samples of those. If you'd like to see them, just shoot me an email, and I will get you a copy of some samples of that. Okay, let's go back to the study guide here. And oops, I opened that up twice. I thought I did. Okay, so turn to page 3. And we're going to talk about adding the split screen. This is really cool as well. Again, everything for an easier use of your software. And I want you to compare this to how maybe you've used the this concept of these posted documents. Let's go into the and then I'm going to talk about the references and your reference, and I may get into a couple more things here. Okay. So let me move this out of the way. We'll open up our nav again. And okay, the split screen. Okay, the split screen. Okay, so here is the posted documents. You've probably seen this before. This is posted documents. The way it normally comes up is like this. Posted sales invoice, either the lines, okay, this is all the lines, okay, or posted sales invoices. If I come down here, this is just the list of invoices. Well, that doesn't tell me very much. Well, it's got the dollar amount, okay, and I could sort it by the dollar amount. I could rank them. I could sort it and so forth. But the way I like to design my screens here is a new choice called Posted Sales Invoices Split Screen. What this does is it gives you in the upper window that same list of your sales invoices, but in the lower window, it shows exactly what the line items are, at least the first 4 or 5 line items of your invoice. So you can kind of just glance, you can click on each one, and as you move down through the list, you can actually see the contents without having to open up the document to see it. And of course, the totals are down here at the bottom. So having this as a split screen really makes it easier to use. We did the same thing on credit memos. I think we did it a couple other places. On purchase invoices, on your purchase invoices for the purchasing agent. Again, you can just kind of see what you've been buying without having to open the document up. It's just so much quicker and easier to use the software with this split screen format. Okay, and some nice totals over here on the right side. So that's on split screens. Rather than jumping back to the outline, I'm going to mention a couple things about your reference. I think this is important as well. Again, this is a little bit of a tip on how to use the software. Again, how do we make a smooth startup? There's some things you can do, and a lot of these you can do so easily with or without our database, but it makes it so much simpler with the Foundation Pack database, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so let me open up this first one here. We'll just open up a sales order. You've probably seen sales orders before on screen. So the first thing I'm going to point out is that there's this posting description. It defaults in out of the box. This is the way it just works out of the box, which drives me nuts. It comes in with this order 1001, and people just tend to leave it there. Okay, it's like, but this is so important. I want you to realize this is a very important field. This is what is going to get posted to your general ledger. Okay, understand that. When you post this document and this goes to general ledger, in the ledger entries, the posting description shows. And don't just leave it as order 1001. That's boring. It doesn't give you much information. So I would put in a little summary So I would say some finished goods. So I'd put in here finished good and some service. Put in a description. Okay, SERVICE. Okay. So put in a description here. Use this your reference. This is for the Johnson job. Okay, fill these things in. External document number. This is typically for their purchase order number. So I would put in whatever the PO number is from the client. I would get that into your external document number. Now, with our database, what we've done is we transfer this information to the customer ledger. We feel that this is an important part of the transaction, and so when you post the document, that hits the customer ledger. The description here, your reference, and the document number all hits that ledger so that you can see that kind of history side as well. Again, make it easy to use. Okay, I'm going to move on down in page 3 to line comments for the purchasing side. So this is interesting. I don't know if you've ever even known that they're, in fact, let me show you. Before I leave this, I'm going to show you something here. So when you're sitting on a line item, okay, you have an option to go line, that you did here. I'm on sales order. Okay, that's interesting. Here we go. Okay. Related information, comments. Here we go, comments. So this is a little bit tricky to get to it, isn't it? So probably why it's not used much is comments. So you got this option to bring up comments, but this is comments for this line item. Okay, it's specific to this line. And then you could put in a comment associated with it. Or one of our, I'll mention it while I'm here, is this thing called word wrap comments. So for those of you that use comments a lot, do think about, okay, this is a special item, blah, blah, blah. And then you can put, tons of text. You got a free form. And then when you hit OK, it returns it back over here. What's nice about this is you can use copy paste. So you can actually highlight it and right click it and copy this information, or you can go the other way. You might have a Word document with some extended text. Oh, in fact, there was a document I wanted to show you with that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. That put in lots of text in the quote. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I didn't write the number down. Let me look. Guess I didn't write the number down, but there was one document that had all sorts of text description about the finished good, had specifications and all sorts of information about that item, and it all just dropped nicely into that extended text and the that comment field. But what Microsoft didn't do, and I don't know why they didn't continue this, if I go over here to purchase orders and we look at this first purchase order, they did not have line comments. So we added this choice in here. So on your purchase order document now, you can put this is a good example, with raised wood edge. So you can specify to the vendor more information and then choose where that's to be printed. Printed on a quote, printed on a purchase order, where you want to, or not printed at all. It's just an internal document. So, and again, you can use the word wrap comments to put in unlimited amounts of text verbiage for your vendor on those purchase orders. And by the way, a lot of this stuff that I'm showing you here is available in videos on our website. So I'm just kind of skimming over it here a little bit so you get the general concepts. Okay, I want to move ahead to the show as chart concept. So let me show you where I am on the study guide, and then we're going to come back here in just a second. So on the study guide, I want to spend just a minute on the show as chart function, because so many people that use NAV just don't know about this functionality. And to me, this is another factor that makes it so much easier to use the software, is by just using the charting that comes with the software. Okay, and I'll show you an example here of customer balance by salesperson. Okay, so simple to do. Watch this. If you haven't ever done this, you've got to give this a try. So let's open up our NAV, and I'm going to go to customers. In fact, I'm going to go to customers with balance due. I've got a saved view here, just so you can see this. Let me open up customer balance due. Here we go. Okay, so here's my list of customers with balance due. I did a save view. I created it, added the filter where the balance due is not 0, so it gives me this information here. Of course, I could rank them. I could say, let me see them ranked by balance due. That's the advantage of the sorting. But maybe you want to see it by location. So I want to see these balances due by location. Well, the great way to do that is the included charts. So if you ever use this choice right here called Show as Chart, so you hit Show as Chart, and at first you think, oh, this doesn't work, but it says select measures and dimensions. So start with your measure. In other words, I want to see the balance by, and then by is the lower right-hand corner, and I want to see it by, what I say, location. So we'll just find location code. Where's my location code? Here it is, location code. And instantly, I get this nice looking chart on screen. Maybe you don't want to see it by salesperson. So let's switch that over. Let's go take a look at balance by salesperson. So here's salesperson code. Okay, so now it's your different salespeople. So quick, so easy to basically take this same list that you have on screen and show it as a chart by just applying the balance and the salesperson code field. Don't use this one to begin with. That's a 3-dimensional chart. Get comfortable with the balance by some criteria. Okay, so give that a try. That's part of the base product. That's not part of a foundation pack, but it's pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's go back to the study guide. I want to mention this last thing before we wrap up this first topic. Let's go back to the study guide. So I'm going to come back here, and I want to talk about what I call an instant start tool for new companies. You know how to add a new company. I'm assuming you know how to add a new company to your system. And some of you probably have added companies over the years within your NAV software. But the NAV tool just copies the data. It doesn't allow you to delete unwanted data. So do you know how to do this? Hopefully you know how to do this, but let me just show you real quick. So you can go to the company list. You've seen this up here. So up here you can pick select companies, and you probably have a list of multiple companies in your database. Well, you can get to that list, close that, just by typing companies, M-P-A-N-I-E-S, companies, you have to spell it right, C-O-M-P-A-N, companies, right there. Okay, so here's my list of companies. That's the same as what you saw on that list. And you've got the ability to copy a company. Did you know that? You may not have even known that. So often maybe you're doing some transaction and you think, oh gosh, what do I don't really want to goof up my data, but I really want to try it out. So you can copy the company and then because it'll be an exact copy. All your data, all your customers, all your vendors, everything will be in there, and then you can try it out and it works great. Or you may want to copy a company for some other use, but you don't always want all those customers in there. Maybe you don't want the transactions in there in this new company. You want to really start fresh, but some data comes forward and some doesn't. So what we designed was the ability to actually delete selected data. This is really important. Delete selected data. So let me show you how this tool works. This is part of our foundation pack. So I'm going to open up here, and it's only available through the development side, the back end of NAV. And it's called the Data Cleaning Request page. It's kind of a secret page back here because you don't want everybody doing this. But I want you as my audience, I want you to know about this thing, is that after you have copied your company, you can come in here and say, I want to delete the transactions. I don't want to delete the customers, but I am going to delete my contacts. I have a new set of vendors in this new company, new set of items, but I'm going to use the same resources, so I don't delete that. I like the chart of accounts in my company, so I leave that. I probably don't care about the bank accounts because I only have 2 or 3. I'm going to have new employees, so I want to delete the employees. Probably want to get rid of the salespeople. So I'm cleaning basically the data files that I don't want, but the company is there. And then once you're ready to go, you hit clean data, and away this thing goes. Now I'm not going to run it, but I wanted you to be aware of this functionality, and this is part of Foundation Pack to be able to come in and actually run that functionality, which lets you kind of clean up some of the either sample data or previous data for your new company. Really expedites that process. Okay, so I've shown you several really, I think, some pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to launch a little quick poll here, and I want you to tell me, based on what you saw, do you think is some of the best features? What's the best tip of what you have seen? Just grab your mouse and go up there and click the button and let me know what you liked. I don't know if you can click everything, but let me know which of those features you like. Okay, good voting going on here. Great. 82%. Anybody else want to vote? Quick. Okay, close the poll out. We've got 82% of you. Somebody's asleep. I'll share the poll back so you can see what people are saying. 67% said they liked the improved role center. That made a lot of sense to them. That's great. 56% of you said the fact boxes were excellent. So, and it's not just the fact boxes on the item card. We do fact boxes all through NAV. Nobody said defaults, and that's because I probably didn't even mention that when you add a new customer, you can have defaults come in, and a lot of places we default in a lot of values. The instant start, that's what I just showed you with the ability to copy and then clear out some of that data. And then some of the key reports that we've added. A lot of people like that as well. So thank you very much for voting and letting you know what everybody is like so far. Okay, so let's go back to our little study guide here and see what's next. So we did a little tip on that. All right, so I want to move to number 2. And number 2, part of this whole concept of how to make a smooth startup is reporting. NAV out of the box has a lot of reports, but they're not always designed as well as you might like them to be. And so we here at Cost Control Software spend a lot of time really tweaking and organizing and creating reports that are very usable, very usable, right out of the box. And so I'm going to take a minute and show you a few of these. I don't want to show you all of them, but I do want to show enough that you get a sample of some of these key reports. And we put them all together for you in a package of reports. So we call it Reports Pack. And there's about 60 reports in our current reports pack for Dynamics NAV. Okay, so let's, I'm going to show you a little bit, maybe the sales quote report. I'll probably show a sales invoice and maybe a few other reports here. And then those are, and actually I kind of call those documents. So quotes and purchase orders, those are kind of document files. And then reports are things like a commission report or a vendor performance report, customer performance. These are kind of more the reporting kind of thing. So let's start with the documents. Okay, so let me just open up our nav. And we'll go back to the Role Center. I always like to start so you know where I'm starting from. And I'm just going to open up some sales quotes. So here's my list of sales quotes. And right from here, I think I can just print this first one, let you see what it looks like. Actually, there's a couple ways I could do this. I could do this as a send as PDF. Maybe that'd be the better way to do it if I've got my Outlook open. I don't think I do. Open up my Outlook real quick here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here we go. So here is basically, I'm sending it basically to myself, so just for this example, and I'm not going to actually send this, I just want you to see what it looks like. So the send as PDF sends the document, puts the document name in here, attaches the quote itself. You can put in some, images and links to websites and so forth, and then some nice text in here as far as Andy. Here's your quote, number 101. Here's the amount, the tax, and then you can have some additional information drop in automatically. And notice I didn't type any of this stuff. This all just came in automatically when I hit that send as PDF. And the actual document itself, this is the key thing I want you to see here. Let me open this up. And okay, so here we go. Let me zoom out just a little bit. This way, zoom. All right, so here is my document, and it's a quote document. And the way we organize it, I like to have these boxes that kind of organizes things. Some of the key things I want to point out is that the customer's phone number prints on the invoice. It doesn't out of the box. Their fax number could print in case you have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is fax the quote to somebody. It puts their email there, so if you want to email it to them, which is what I'm doing here, but it has the email, has the sell to, the ship to, and then, this is a good example. This is where it's got all that description. This is using that word wrap comments to put in all the specifications of this bicycle. So it's got the weight, the forged alloy, the gear ratios, all this information is printing right on your document. And nobody typed any of this in. Well, somebody did one time, but that's it. Okay, so that is the design of the quotes. And I'll just mention, while I'm here, I'll just kind of tell you that sales invoices look almost identical to this. Sales credit memos look almost, it says sales invoice up here, not sales quote. Or purchase order. Maybe it says purchase order. So purchase order, number such and such, and then the vendor information and where you want the vendor to ship it, and then description of what you're buying is going to show in here. And of course, down at the bottom, now this one's a quote, right? So this is a place for them to accept the quote and send it back to you, and the totals. On a purchase order, it's not going to have that, but very, very similar design and layout. And the other thing let me zoom out. I want to make a point here. One of the things we really work on is we want to keep the heading tight. I want this top part as tight as possible so I have as much room in the body for lots and lots of line items. I think the way it comes out of the box is you get just about the heading is about half of the whole thing. It must assume that you only have 3 or 4 line items on your sales quotes or sales invoices, which is never enough information. So it's kind of important to have, lots of room for the text. Okay, so that's all. I'm going to close out of this. Going to close out of that. Don't need to see that anymore. Any changes? No. Okay. So that's the concepts on purchase orders, and all of that information is there. I showed you a little bit of the send as PDF capabilities as well. Okay, I want to jump down to reports. I want to mention a couple things on reports. I think it's very important to have really good reporting tools available to you. Let's go to the customer area. Okay, so here on the customer, I've already mentioned the ability to see the posted documents, but under reports, we have a drop down right here called Reports Pack. And this is where you can have the customer related types of reports in a nice simple little drop down list. And for example, this monthly bookings, this comes up quite often. Just think in terms of your own company. Does the owner ever come to you and say, well, what did we book for sales last month? And you go, oh, well, I don't know what we booked, but I know what the sales were. That's often different than what you booked as far as landed those orders. So we created this booked but not invoiced, and then invoiced within that period. So the totals down at the bottom are always the correct amounts. So when the owner now wants a bookings report, you've got that available to you. Okay, same for some of these other reports. There's some nice ones here. Ship not invoiced report, a shipment schedule, as far as what's going out. This is the outbound schedule, as well as then you'd have the same thing on the purchase vendor side for the what's coming in. Ship and unposted. I always like this one. I'll show you this one. It's one of my favorites. As salespeople, we do have favorites. It's hard to believe, but yes, we do. So this one is, I call it my profit per invoice. This is every invoice that we've done, the line items that we shipped, the prices, the costs, the line item profit, and then the overall profit percentages. So I can see what my profit is on every document that we have sent out. This would be of all time. Now you can filter this for I just want to see April's profitability report, and that this would give it to you. So having a nice profitability report, which is comparing the cost and the price, extended price and the cost of the item that you're selling, is all going to be displayed here. It's grabbing all that information, summarizing it, giving you the totals. Really, really nice report. We use it in-house. You guys, I'm sure, would use something like this in your business as well. Items. Let's see if I've got some item reports here. Go to, here, reports, foundation report. So maybe a commission report. I don't know if you calculate commissions. You can do a new page and show some details here. This just a fairly quick commission kind of report for your sales reps would let you see for JR, John Roberts, what he has sold, what the price is, and what the commission amount is and the commission due. So you can give him some kind of basic. This is a basic commission report, and I know everybody has different ways of calculating commissions, but at least you get some starter kind of report for commissions. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Foundation reports, opportunity reports, sales shipped not invoiced. This often comes up as well. Let's just do this as of the work date. Words, what have we shipped and has not been invoiced? So I've got $21,000 worth of documents that need to get billed to the customers because we've shipped this information and we need to get those invoices out the door. This should always come up pretty much blank because you're billing as you go. But this would show you if you have open billings that need to get out the door because you have done shipments, this will show that very quickly as well. So lots of very embedded kind of reports available, and we populate them around the system. Oh, I know, I won't show you one other. This one drove me nuts at the beginning. I'm going to go into resources, and we use resources a lot, and I think many of our customers use resources, and the one report that was missing was the resource ledger entries. They have wonderful information in the ledger behind each resource. So for Amy, I can see the usage and sales that have been made. For the resource conveyor, I can see the sales activity on this item. I can see all the details. Okay, and this kind of report just doesn't exist anywhere in NAV. Is basically resource. It's called the resource ledger entry report. And I think this is an important part of, and this is all, everything I'm showing you here, all these reports, part of Reports Pack. Part of Reports Pack. Okay, so let's see what you think about these. Let's see what, I didn't show you all of these, but which one of these did you think was the best one? Improve sales documents, improve purchase documents. There's 5 of them. Improve inventory inactivity. I didn't even show you that one. That lets you see what items have been sitting around forever and never shipped or never sold. That's often very handy for people. Bookings report. Just click the button and let me know what you think's a good report here. Okay, got 70% of you voting. Okay, time's up. You got to be quick around here. So I'll share this back with you. 57% improved the sales documents. You like that? Sales quotes, sales orders, credit memos, invoices, all that kind of stuff. Purchase documents got 14%. So we got more salespeople on the calls is what that tells me. But the purchase documents are a mirror image of them. The inventory inactivity got 14%. I didn't even show it to you, so you like it. The bookings report, so we got a few people that actually could utilize that, and the vendor performance report. Again, all these right out of the box included with Reports Pack Granule. Okay, let's go back to our study guide here and see where we are. And I don't need that, and I don't need that anymore. Okay. So I want to talk just briefly here at the end about good training. Training is absolutely essential to getting a smooth startup. Okay, you got to have the screens, you got to have the documents, and you got to have good training. All this has to go together. Okay, it all goes together to make for a good delivery and a good startup with your software. So we have created what we call our online academy. It's Cost Control Academy, and I'll show it to you here in just a second. Even if you have your NAV consultant come out, it's a good idea to warm up before they come out, before you do the live training. Live training tends to be, as you know, fairly expensive. Okay, especially when it's that one-on-one training, or even if it's over the web doing web coaching, it's still pretty expensive because you're one-on-one with somebody. But with the online courses where you can pause the videos, you can rewind, you can watch it over and over and over, you can't do that with a live situation. Okay, so I encourage you to take the course before your NAV consultant starts. You still should not eliminate the consultant. I don't want to say this is going to replace your NAV consultant. They won't. You'll still want to have them come out, but you will be ready versus kind of lost in a deer in the headlights here. Okay, the curriculum, you review the master files, quotes to cash is covered, AP check printing, bank recs, dimensions, posting groups, how to print financial statements. All of this is covered. Daily transactions, purchase orders. Man, it is a great, great course. This is on now. This is just one. Let me just show this to you. I'm going to go and open up a browser here. So I'm going to open a browser. I'll open up the Academy. So it's called costcontrolacademy.com. costcontrolacademy.com. And this is where we store all of our training courses. So for Microsoft Dynamics NAV and add-on products, they are all listed here. They're all under $1,000. No, the bundle is a little bit more, but most of the courses are less than $1,000. And things like getting started, this would be the very first one you should take. Getting started with Dynamics NAV gives you a full 1-year access. Let me just open this up and I'll just show you what's in here. So getting started with NAV, and you just scroll down and you can see there's a little explaining video. I guess I was the instructor on this one. 75 videos, guys. Okay, here's the course curriculum. There's some free trials that you can take. You just sign up and click the free trial. And then these are the topics: inserting master records, daily workflows, manual procurement, automatic procurement, receiving, shipping, invoicing, all that kind of stuff, vendors, how to do vendor invoices, purchase invoices, print AP checks. All of this is covered. Customer management, print customer statements, customer reports, resources. Learn to use these resources, really important. Okay, inventory, lots of things in inventory, item tracking, item tracing. Okay, unit of measures, stock keeping units, very important to use those, especially in manufacturing. Financial management, your chart of accounts, totaling, payment tolerances, posting groups. Boy, have you ever wondered about posting groups? Well, here's a whole course on posting groups. Application setup, company information, report selection, payment terms. Oh, I mean, this goes on and on and on. And then some additional stuff, help files, links, copy documents, line comments, statistic windows, how to do the pictures, how to set up my customers, closing comments. All this is really, really important stuff. And it's all in one course. What was the price on this one? Go back to the top. This course is $8.95. $8.95. You just hit buy now and boom, we get you right into that course. We'll set you up with your credentials. You have a full year access. Full year. Okay. Then you can watch it over and over, and you can share credentials with other people in your company. It is not just for one person, it's per company. Okay, so we really make this very affordable for you to use this training option. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. And let's see what you think about the best tip for training. This is my third and last questionnaire thing here. So there are multiple ways to get training, and I'm very aware of that. There's the Academy course. That's the warm-up that I just mentioned. There is some free training on YouTube. Have you ever watched any YouTube videos? They're not very good. You can get some information, but not the level of detail we're providing, okay, in here. There's also a course on development. So we have a course. I didn't show you all the courses. I just showed you the getting started with NAV. But there is courses on development, on manufacturing. For those of you that get into NAV manufacturing, there's courses on that as well. Okay, so let me close that out and we'll see what people are saying. So as far as the best tip is the Academy course, 50%, and 50% said YouTube. So there is some good content there. It's not as well organized and definitely not as detailed as what you're going to get on the courses from Cost Control. The replay, I should mention this, the replay of this webinar will be available. Ben will send out a link probably tomorrow, the next day, so that you can watch the replay of this webinar or send it on to somebody else. Purchase the course on NAV development, so if you want to learn about developing in NAV, that's available. And purchase a course on NAV manufacturing, that's also a popular course for us. So I just want you to be sure, I want to be sure that you're aware that you do have some training options. Okay, now in a webinar, but I do want to stick around for just a minute more because I want to mention a special offer that I've got to you guys that are attending today or watching this webinar. I've talked about the Foundation Pack database. That's a $1,900 item. Plus 16% is $2,204. The Reports Pack, $950 item. 16%, there's the total. The Academy is $895. That's what you just saw. If you bought these individually, it would total up to $4,201. Today, during the webinar, so that means within the next 10 minutes, if you put into the Q&A box, I'll take it, or I want to buy that, then I'm going to sell this whole package, all of this, for $29.95 for all of it. For those of you that have to go and talk to your boss and make it to get a decision, I'm going to offer it to you for 30 days for $34.95, but you do have to mention that you attended the webinar. Okay, and so the whole bundle basically is $34.95 for all of it. Okay, so it's all about a smoother startup. And whether you're upgrading to NAV 2017 or 2018, this will really help you get yourself organized and going. You definitely need the reports pack, if nothing else, and you can buy these individually. So if you just want the reports pack, if you thought, oh, that would really help us out, then just buy that individually. But you can buy all of them together for $29.95 if you put in just a comment or send me an email right after this webinar. Okay, so it's all about the smoother startup. That's the whole concept here. I'm going to put my contact information up here. And then I'm going to open this up in case there's any last questions, although I know I go awfully fast in these things. So I do want to mention your next step. If you liked anything that you saw today, I do want you to contact me and schedule a one-on-one presentation. Let's go through it together and kind of take a look at any of these concepts and make sure that you have those things installed in your software. If not, I'll walk you through how to get that done. And the replay will be sent to everyone probably by tomorrow would be my guess at this stage. Okay, so if there are questions, I'm going to open this up now to any Q&A. I will try to answer your calls or questions. If I can't, I will defer them to somebody else to get them answered, but I normally can answer most of your questions. And all you have to do, it's not an open mic, sorry, no open mic today, so it does mean keyboard. You have to just type on the keyboard in the question box in your GoToWebinar dialog. And I appreciate your sticking around for the whole 60 minutes here. This is great. Appreciate everybody's time, attention. Hope you've learned some things, got some new ideas. That's the main thing. And do take advantage of these bundle offers. Even if you just buy the Academy by itself, we'd appreciate your business so that I can continue providing this kind of information on my Wednesday webinars. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A box. Appreciate everybody being here. I think we will close it out then for today. Thanks very much. Have a great day.